Brett Elmore, Brian Hill here live for the Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper. Coach's Corner is on the air here on a Thursday night. Our special guest coming up in just a bit, Coach DJ Emerson of the Curry Yellow Jackets, along with Isaac Vicente and Ian Tuggle. They'll be joining us. Brett Elmore, Brian Hill here, and Luke Keaton back to the studio, our producer and engineer. Brian, another week of the books, and it's hard to believe that we're staring at the end of the season.
Yeah, this time next week, it's going to be the end of the regular season coming up. How crazy is that, Brett? It just seems like last week the whole thing was beginning.
Yeah, it really did. And but I tell you, we're down to the wire, and the guys from Curry are going to be playing their last game of the season tomorrow night. But let's talk about last week's scores. Jasper defeated John Carroll 48-7. They secure up third place in the region, could play for second tomorrow night.
Yep, it's right now. It's the difference in between a win and a loss is whether you're hosting for the first round of the playoffs or you're traveling.
Dora, the Bulldogs defeated Northside, a big win for that program, a 20-point win over Northside, 33-13.
And that does clear up that first place tie. So tomorrow night against Oak Grove, if they can get the victory, they'll go ahead and lock up second. Then it's just to see what happens in between Corner and Haleyville. Dora at the end of the night could be region champions.
Credoma, they defeat Oak Grove 42-22.
Yeah, and really took that one and did everything that they need to. Had a great overall night.
Corner Yellow Jackets defeated Curry 69-0 was the final in that one.
Yeah, and Corner, of course, one of the top three teams that are vying in that region, and they certainly have looked at this season.
Yeah, they have. Gordo, the Green Wave, defeat Oakman 56-12.
Yeah, and it's kind of misleading because this game going into halftime was 16-6. Oakman was hanging in there, but apparently Gordo just really got it together and stormed out.
Midfield defeats Carbon Hill 30-14.
Yeah, and that was a misleading score. Midfield was up 22-0. Carbon Hill went to an I formation and just went to fundamentals and was able to come back, just penaltying themselves out of the game, Brett, because they really had momentum.
Aliceville squeaks one out over Winston County 34-31.
Last play of the game,
wow.
Aliceville scores it. What a heartbreaker for Winston County, but at the same time it shows they can compete with the number 4 team in the state.
Summited Christian comes up short as well. Tarrant beats them 35-30.
Yeah, a larger school, Tarrant. Just Summited Christian just came up a little short, but good effort by them.
Meek continues to be Meek. The pride of Winston County defeats Vina 54-0.
It's Vina. It's Vina.
Yeah. Addison defeats Fogville 20-7.
Yeah, that's a good win for Addison, too. Larger classification, former region opponent, took care of business.
And Lynn continues to impress. They defeat Barry 49-0.
Yet again, Vina and Barry could probably play a good competitive game together.
Yeah. So that's a look at last week's scores. When we come back from the break, we'll visit with the Curry Yellow Jackets from the Pie Factory at historic downtown Jasper. Tonight they have live entertainment. Mark Palmer are going to be playing at 7:30. They'll have the football games on the big screens. This is the place to be for dinner and much more here tonight at the Pie Factory. We'll be back after this 2-minute break. 2 minutes, and we'll be back to WJLX at Coach's Corner. Welcome back to the Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper. Brett Elmore, Brian Hill here for WJLX Sports. And tonight we welcome in the Curry Yellow Jackets, Coach DJ Emerson. Coach, grab that microphone and welcome aboard here tonight.
Thank you guys for having us.
Coach, talk about the season. You get the monkey off your back. You get a couple of wins, and that's something I've seen a lot of steady progress from your team. Just talk about the season.
Like everything, I think we've had our ups and downs. There's been our high moments when obviously getting that first victory over Barry, and then another one, and we've dealt with injuries and a lot of other different things, but a lot of positives. I can't say enough about these two and the whole entire senior group and just the whole team, just their buy-in. And I've said it since day one, whatever I've asked them to do, it's yes, sir, and they just get after it. And we are making strides. Sometimes we want things to move faster and move in a more just faster, and sometimes that don't happen, and we just got to continue to work hard and continue to make progress. And I talk about maybe climbing a mountain. We can't have any steps back. We just got to continue to move forward. We may have to crawl, and it may be inches, but as long as we continue to move forward, we're going to get things where I want them to be.
Coach, talk about what it was like to get that win over Barry and what the mood was in the locker room and that experience.
A lot of guys on the team, majority of them never experienced that. So, and me being my second year only as a head coach, I had never experienced that at the varsity level. And so a lot of first times, and I think a lot of didn't really know how to react. But it was very positive, a lot of tears, joyful tears. I've heard a few kids, Coach, this is the greatest day of my life, greatest night of my life. And, just seeing that, everybody says you work hard, you will see results. But sometimes that's not always the case. So them putting that work in and actually seeing the results that we wanted, it's just all about them. And I was just so grateful for them and thankful for them that they got to experience that.
Coach, you mentioned it's your second season. What's the biggest thing you've learned from your first year to the second? Biggest thing I've learned, it just takes time,
Patience, a lot more gray hairs, but just staying at it, just having a belief system that, no matter what happens, every day I'm going to try to put them in the best position to be successful and be, not only on the field, but be successful in life. What kind of men they're going to be when they leave me, and what kind of husbands and fathers. Just continue to improve on them and try to develop that character. That's what we're striving to do every day, and just continuing to just have a belief system and stick with it. And there's going to be bumps in the roads, but just continuing on that journey and moving forward up that mountain.
Coach, going along those lines, since your first arrival there, you've seen your team evolve, not only on the field, but most importantly off the field and on their field mentality, their enthusiasm, their attitudes. Talk about a little bit about the growth that you've seen.
Well, it's just a workman type mentality, putting that hard hat on. I think there's expectations. There are expectations that we have in the weight room. There's expectations that we have in the locker room. There's expectations that we have in the field, expectations in the classroom, and then in the community. And just being clear about those expectations and what I'd like to see and what we want to do, and just if we're not meeting those expectations, what kind of route, what kind of course, almost like a GPS. When you get off track, how are we going to reroute and get back on path of doing things the right way, and just I think clearly laying those out, and them and another year of them understanding exactly what I'm wanting and exactly how we want to do things. We've improved in all those areas. I mean, just practicing this week at 6 a.m. at 30-degree weather, perfect attendance. I asked people around the community that had been there a while, if we'd done this 3 or 4 years ago, how many guys do you think would actually showed up? And Coach, you may have had 10, and so just seeing that's small victories, but we'll take any victories that we can. Just seeing those type of improvements, the way I want the locker room left, we don't leave anything on the floor. And I was walking around today, there's a certain side of the locker that I want their helmets hang. They want a single helmet, not hung in the correct position. Just little stuff like that I don't have to remind them necessarily almost every day, hey, let's get our locker clean and stuff like that. It's just expected. How we leave the weight room, and, we leave it in the manner that I want it to leave it. You don't really have to address those things that you had to constantly address day in and day out from the first time I got there.
Small victories, you talk about that, and then let's talk about just the program in general. You guys have put a lot of effort into the facilities, and talk about the upgrades since you've been there.
Well, we've got a new visitor side bleachers, so we've upgraded that in our stadium. I'd like to see our home side maybe eventually get that same upgrade. We closed on a building right that basically connects campus, which is part of campus now, to put an indoor. And once it's completed, it should be the largest in the county. And just, I've said this, I think, in media days early on. There's a reason Alabama is constantly renovating and constantly improving. And if you don't, you're going to get left behind. And just seeing that commitment from our board, from our superintendent, for our board members, from our administration, we're committed to improving things, and we're committed to doing things right. And I, as a coach, I'm not going to be satisfied with anything. Once we get the indoor done, I want to move on to the next project and just continue to move on and build and improve the program. And, you're lying to yourself if kids don't see that. If there's not a commitment to those facilities and those upgrades and having things that, first class, they're going to look elsewhere. And, same way with college, same way with, the NFL, and it's just trickling down to high school as well.
Need to fix those press box steps. I've liked to kill myself
Oh,
coming
my
down
goodness.
those a few times over the years.
Steep.
Those are steep and narrow.
Absolutely.
But, hey, that's the least of your worries as far as facilities. But let's talk to some of the kids here. We got Isaac Vicente and Ian Tuggle. Brian, you got anything for them?
Yeah, guys, you guys are both seniors. Obviously, you've had a chance to see from the beginning of last year and before that. Talk about the evolution, not only within yourselves, but the younger guys around you, the change that you have seen attitude-wise.
I think the culture has really changed a lot since last year, especially. Everybody's more of a team. Everybody plays together. Everybody focuses on, the little things. Keeping the locker room clean, making sure all the weights are put up correctly. Finishing reps, everything like that. I think there's been a real improvement since last year, especially.
Isaac, what position do you play?
Offensive line, defensive line.
All right, and what do you enjoy most about playing for Coach Emerson?
I feel like we have fun. It's going to be a sad day not to see him down there this next coming year. It's been a good time playing for him.
Good. Same question for Ian that Brian posed. Brian, you may want to mention that again.
Ian, I'm sure since the beginning of last year, plus before that, you had a chance to see the team as it grew, as it evolved from beforehand through Coach's first couple of weeks now to this point. Talk a little bit about what you've seen and how the team has reacted and grown.
Yes, sir. Isaac pretty much nailed it. But once a bunch of the older guys step up and stick their foot in the ground and pretty much show the young guys how to run things, and a lot of them seem to follow behind and want to be like everybody else. That all the older ones that try to lead and show the young guys how it's done.
Ian, what position do you play?
Outside linebacker and tight end.
What do you like most about playing the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball? You look like somebody that like to hit someone. A linebacker probably. You look like a linebacker.
Yes, sir. I love playing defense, and that's probably my favorite.
Yeah, but he's a tight end too, so he can get physical.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, a physical side of the ball too. A physical position. Well, what have you enjoyed most about playing for Coach Emerson?
That's a great question. There's a lot of good answers to that one.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun, and it's more than just football being out there, and we come together as a family and just enjoy each other's, everybody being there.
Coach, that has to make you proud a little bit. Just pass the mic back over to Coach. Kind of makes you feel good because it feels like what you're working toward is actually working.
Absolutely. Just, stuff that you preach and stuff that you constantly say, just to hear those guys when you ask them a question, that's basically the same stuff that comes out of their mouth. And just you're hitting home and just seeing how these guys grow and mature. And he kind of said a significant word, family. It's all a brotherhood, and whether you're the starter and, the main guy or you don't get a lot of playing time, I tell everybody almost constantly every week, everybody is important. Everybody has an important role, and there's no one that's more significant or insignificant than the other. And just seeing them, come together as a family and work together and being such a close-knit group, that it's really nice to see.
We're going to take another break, a 2-minute timeout. When we come back, we'll talk about tomorrow night's game with Cordova and the Curry Yellow Jackets. We're live for the Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper. Come on out and see us as they got live music starting at 7:30 tonight with Mark Palmer. Back in 2 minutes to Coach's Corner on WJLX. Welcome back to the Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper. Brett Elmore, Brian Hill here for WJLX and the Curry Yellow Jackets, our special guest tonight. Coach DJ Emerson. Coach, talk about tomorrow night. It's kind of like the Super Bowl for you guys because it's the final game of the season, and want to try to go and play spoiler on homecoming for Cordova.
County opponent, really good opponent. They're really good. Record does not really reflect how close they have been in every ball game and had their chances. Well coached team, some really good players, and play. I spent a year at Cordova and playing in that atmosphere that they have. It'll be a really good challenge for us, and just want to send these guys off. I tell them, a lot of things we can't control, but we can control our attitude and effort. And I just want to see max effort and us excited about the opportunity to have the chance to play again. I tell them all the time, nobody has that. Everybody can't play football. Some people, there's limitations and stuff like that. We don't have to play. We get to play, and just enjoying that opportunity is what I want to see them do tomorrow night.
Isaac, Ian, on the defensive component, you guys are facing a four-year starting senior quarterback who's really, really, really good at what he does. And obviously some of your guys' duties will be to disrupt him, put up an arm, try to deflect passes, get pressure on him. Obviously the mentality had to been you gotta pressure him the best way you can going into this week.
Yes, sir. I mean, he's a good opponent. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night. Give as much effort as I can, every play that I'm available for. So I think as long as we come out there and play hard, we'll have the best chance we can.
Ian?
I know we got some crowd noise, sorry.
Yeah, he's a very good player, but I personally think, everything in life you do, if you don't have fun, you won't be able to do it at your best. And tomorrow night, just go out there and have fun and play my hardest. As the rest of my team too, and I thought we could have a good chance and enjoy our last game.
What does it mean for you guys being seniors? What is it going to mean, tomorrow night? That final horn, and it's over,
It'll be a feeling we've never felt, and the only time we'll feel it. So it'll be interesting. Sad to see it go, but
Isaac, what about you?
Yes, last game I ever play for Curry High School. Been here 4 years. It's been a good ride. Glad to have been coached by Coach Emerson these last 2 years, and I hope to leave tomorrow night on a good note.
Very good. Anything else, Brian, you got?
Coach, I just want to give a heads up because I've been out to give 2 Players of the Week trophy, one to Josh and one to Colin. And both of, when I was talking to them off the air, they had said very humbly, look, this award is just part of a team award, and it's very simply we go out, we do the best that we can to work together, we play hard, and most importantly, we represent our community, and that's a hats off for what you're doing.
I appreciate it. Me and Coach Woodley's constant reminder: we're playing for the jersey in the front, not the name on the front, not for the name on the back, and they're doing a great job of that.
Well, Coach, best of luck tomorrow night, and we appreciate you coming out tonight and joining us. We've been trying to get you. Our schedules didn't align, but we're glad to have you here tonight, and good luck tomorrow night, okay?
Thank you, and I really appreciate what you guys do for all the county and the surrounding counties and for high school sports. It means a lot to be able to put these guys on a platform, and I really appreciate that.
Coach DJ Emerson, the head football coach of the Curry Yellow Jackets, along with seniors Isaac Vicente and Ian Tuggle. We'll take another break, 2 minutes. We'll be back to wrap up Coach's Corner and get ready for the Coach Philip Bailey Show coming up at the bottom of the hour. Back in a moment to the Pie Factory on WJLX. Welcome back to the Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper. Got live music tonight. 7:30, Mark Palmer will be playing, and of course, great pizzas, wings, salads, and the whole 9 yards here at the Pie Factory. Brian, tomorrow night, as we wrap up Coach's Corner, let's kind of we'll skip over the Jasper game because we'll be talking a lot about that coming up with Coach. But tomorrow night, Oak Grove's at Dora. Big opportunity for Dora.
I see Dora taking this one and definitively locking up home field. Where they go after that, who knows, but I see them locking up home field.
Curry's at Cordova, the game of the week on Country Legends 88.5. You and Antoine will have the call of that one tomorrow night.
Yeah, I see, unfortunately, I see Cordova taking this one on homecoming.
Yeah, Curry has got a lot of injuries and kind of limping into the game. Oakman is at 5th-ranked Woodfield.
The toughness doesn't get any easier. They've got to play number 7 Meek next week too. On top of that, and probably start off the playoffs against Piedmont. So I'm sorry, I see Winfield taking this one.
Coach Hall, we love you,
yeah,
but man, you've had some bad luck coming up here. Looks like on the draw. Carbon Hill is at Tarrant.
I think Carbon Hill's going to take this one. And I'll tell you, Brett, if they go back to run that I formation, stick to fundamentals, and stay away from the penalties, they can win it big. They looked really good in that second half last week.
Let's see. Aliceville and, is it Aliceville and Winston County?
Winston County versus Lamar County.
Oh,
I'm
Lamar
sorry,
County.
I forgot to put that up there. Well, this is really simple, Brett. You win, you're in the playoffs. You lose, you're out. I really think the heartbreaker last week is going to affect the mind of Winston County. And I hate to say this, but I think Lamar County is going to take it.
Lynn is at South Lamar.
I think Lynn will lock up region championship tomorrow night with a victory over South Lamar. I think they'll do it.
Coach Hastings coach there?
At South Lamar?
Yeah.
No.
It was, I'm thinking of someone else. Holy Spirit is at Summoning Christian.
I think that Summoning Christian will take this one. Holy Spirit, their only win this year has been over Brilliant. And, of course, everybody's beaten Brilliant.
Yeah. Phillips Bear Creek is at Addison tomorrow night.
Addison will lock up their second place tomorrow night. Victory over Addison.
And Undefeated Meek is at Cherokee coming up tomorrow night.
Okay, so Meek beat Vina 54-0. I say Meek beats Cherokee 53-0 because they're about 1 point better than Vina.
All right, that's going to do it for Coach's Corner. Coming up next, the Coach Philip Bailey Show live from the Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper. We'll take a 2-minute break. Back with the coaches, Coach Philip Bailey and special guests as well, Pedro Ponce and Logan Naramore. That'll be coming up after the break from the Pie Factory.
How you doing?
Brett Elmore and Brian Hill here for WJLX Sports. Coach Philip Bailey's show is on the air. Coach, good to see you, sir.
Brett, good to see you, man. Always a pleasure. Appreciate y'all having us.
Big win the other night. John Carroll, 48-7. Got 2 home games in a row to wrap up the regular season, but talk about that win. That locks us into at least third.
Yeah, glad to have it, man. Another region win on the road. Thought our kids played well. Thought they executed well, did everything we asked them to do, everything we expected them to do. You know, offense turned the ball over on our first drive. We were moving down the field. We got about 3 first downs, and then we fumbled it. And then I think after that, our starting offense scored touchdowns on their next 7 possessions. So pretty solid performance, man. We were 9 of 9 on third down, which that's something we talk about a lot is third down conversions and staying on the field. But to be 9 for 9, to be 100%, I mean, I can't remember a game where we were ever 100% on those. So that's pretty solid. Defense played well, man. John Carroll didn't score until right there at the end, so they didn't score on our starting defense, you know, scoring on some younger guys. So, like I said, man, did what we asked them to do. I thought it was a solid performance in all 3 phases to win a region game on the road. I think we got a lot of positive momentum right now, man, playing our best ball, certainly playing the best ball we have all year and trending in the right direction. So proud of the kids, man. Proud of how they've worked and stayed committed and stayed steadfast to what they know to be true, and they're doing a good job.
Talk about you talked about some of the turnovers and everything, but this week had a lot of time to kind of clean up some things because it doesn't get any easier. Obviously, with Pleasant Grove coming into town, and we'll talk about them in a second. But talk about just the weekend practice, I guess.
It's been good, man. It's been cold now. It's cooled off fast, yeah. So earlier in the week, it was cool. But I think it's been good, man. It's been a typical week for us. Our JV guys had a game on Monday night. That was their last JV game of the year. John Carroll came to us. Our guys won that game, so I think our JV finished up 5-1. So a really successful campaign for our younger guys, man, getting them a lot of reps. But outside of that, it's been a typical week for us. I think the energy's been good, man. Kids are locked in, and practice has been good. So we're excited, man. You mentioned it, kind of this home stretch here at the end. We'll have Pleasant Grove at home tomorrow, then we'll have Homewood at home in a Week 10 game. It's going to be a really good football game, man. That's 2 playoff teams. Homewood's a 6A school, so they're a little bigger than us, and they've won their region. That's going to be the My 68 ABC 3340 game of the week, so that's very exciting, to have those guys here with us. That'll be great for our kids and our community. And then it's the playoffs after that, man. So from here on out, man, quality football teams, strong football teams. Got to make sure we're doing everything we need to do to be successful.
And we haven't talked a lot about it, but to talk about you talked about a little bit of the success of the JV.
Yeah.
Talk about the JV and maybe the middle school program and kind of how that has went this year.
Yeah, I think it's went well for both of them, man. I think both those guys were 5-1. So junior high bunch, that's 7th and 8th graders. Coach Pat Ware, coaches junior high football, does a really good job with him and his staff. So I'm excited about that bunch, man. The 7th grade and the 8th grade class have some really, really good athletes in it, top to bottom. There's some bigger linemen. There's some skill guys that can go. So we're excited about that bunch, man. And then the junior varsity in the same way, man. They also went 5-1, playing a very similar schedule. So anybody that doesn't get significant reps on Friday nights gets to play in JV games for us. So that's those guys' time to play and put what they got on film and be evaluated, and they've done a good job, man. So pleased with them for sure.
This week we had a chance, Coach, to give Jarrett a Player of the Week honors, and he was absolutely versatile guy. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, had a receiving touchdown, and this is quite a few guys that you have that have that versatility. How enjoyable is that to have so many guys on the team that have that type of versatility where they can rush and they can receive?
It's very enjoyable to have those guys. Yeah, Garrett Busby, G-Bus, as we call him. He's played some receiver for us in the past, plays running back now, and has done a really good job, man. He's a capable ball carrier, catches it well out of the backfield. He does have a very versatile skill set. Mekhi Pledger does as well, man. He's as nice as far as catching the ball out of the backfield as maybe anybody that I've seen in a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, and there's several other guys on the team that have versatile skill sets, and it allows you to do different things, not just on the offensive side of the ball, but certainly defensively as well. That's a tremendous blessing to have guys like that for sure.
Great to be back at home coming up tomorrow night. Of course, we'll talk with a couple of players here. Pedro Ponce and Logan Nairmore joining us tonight, but we're going to take our first break. We'll come back, file this one away, and get to talking about Pleasant Grove and talk to the players. That's coming up after this 2-minute break. You're listening to the Coach Philip Bailey Show, live from the Pie Factory. Welcome back to the Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper. Brett Elmore, Brian Hill for WJLX Sports, and the Coach Philip Bailey show on the air. Coach, let's talk to a couple of these players you got. Who do you bring with you?
Absolutely. Logan Nairmore.
Happy to be here.
Logan, talk about playing for Coach Bailey and the season so far.
Yeah, he's a great coach, first off. And the season, it's gone pretty good. First 3 games were rough. Had to play some tougher opponents. Weren't really getting in our groove. But we've kind of turned it up recently. Gotten that stretch of winning. Started a mesh as a whole, as a unit. And started really put things together. Got on a 5-game winning streak. Cinched the playoffs. And excited to play against a really good team this week.
Pedro, I got to ask you, Coach has been bragging a lot on the show about you lining up at kicker, and is it a lot of fun for you to play kicker, to have a quote unquote leg up on the end of every touchdown?
It is really nice to kick for football, especially for this team, and I'm grateful for Bailey to give me a few chances to get at field goal and everything. It's been really fun. It's been pretty good.
How many times do you hear "take care of your feet" during the week?
A bunch of times. A bunch of times.
Pedro, what led you to want to play football?
I guess it was during the summer, and I was at our soccer meeting.
Yeah.
And one of our teammates came by with a football and a stand, and I was like, I'll give it a try. And I kicked a few, and I really liked it. And then I think another day, Coach Bailey passed by and saw me kick some, and he told me to join. I was like, okay, and I joined the team. It's been pretty fun so far.
Eagle-eye coach, huh?
Coach, talk about
Yeah, so as far as the kicker, man, so Preston Reed, right,
Right.
handled our kicking duties in the past and did a fine job. And then once he graduated, right, kind of tried to work through that in the spring, have some auditions among the football team. Didn't really have any suitors for that position. So I talked to Coach Wisdom, the soccer coach, and he was great. Hats off to him. He was instrumental in helping as well in that. So I went out to soccer practice one day, and as soon as I walked out there, they're like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Not a lot of people that look like me on the soccer field, but Pedro, Carlos Portillo, and then also Nathan Morrison, man. All 3 of those guys have come out from the soccer team and doing a really good job for us. So, no, Pedro can hit it, man. He can thump that thing. It sounds different, when it comes off Pedro's foot. So we're glad to have him, man.
Logan, let me ask you, you're part of this defensive resurgence. Once again, holding an opponent to just a touchdown. Once again, you guys are playing the best defense that we have seen in the past couple of years. How is this as a part of the defense seeing this resurgence that we've seen this year?
It's been pretty good. Ever since, I guess, last year at Coleman, last year at Demopolis, we've always just had that will not to lose. And we've just been sticking in there fighting. Every time we get down the goal line, red zone, it's just most of the times we get lucky maybe, or we just doing good. Yeah.
Coach, you feel like the team may be peaking at the right time?
I do, man. You want to be playing your best football at the end of the year, and I don't think there's any doubt that we're doing that now. Brett, and me and you have talked about that before. The 0-3 start, right, was tough, and a lot of that had to do with who we were playing. And there were some things that we needed to get sorted out, as a football team, and I think we did, man. But I can't say enough about our kids, man. Remaining steadfast, right, and I use that word very intentionally, right, to continue to believe and trust in what you know to be true. And they did that, man, and they've continued to grow and improve and come together and play better, and I think we're playing our best football right now, which here at the end of the year is where you need to be, and hopefully we can continue that week after week after week. See how far we can take this thing in the playoffs, man. So proud of them.
Let's talk about Pleasant Grove.
Yeah.
What have you seen on film?
They're a good football team, man.
Yeah.
They've lost one game this year. That was to Ramsey. They're really good on both sides of the ball, man. So offensively, they got a quarterback. They can spin it. Operates their offense well. He's a mobile kid. He can run. They don't run him a ton. They'll run him at times. But he does a good job putting the ball where it's supposed to go. I got some wideouts that can skin it. Wideouts that can run. Big, physical up front. They got a big O-line, man. And they're well coached, too, now. I mean, they know what they're doing. They know where they're going. Backs are good players, man. Defensively, they're about as good as anything we've seen defensively, just being honest with you. That box play is real, man. That number one, he's about 6'3", 220. He's a really good player. They've got about 8 different D linemen that they roll in there that can play. And then they've got some DBs on the back end that can run around. So they're certainly a very quality football team. And that's something that we're excited about, man. Our guys are excited about the opportunity to go out there and compete, man. It's going to take us playing our very best football, but we're excited about that, man. Give it everything we got and see what we can do tomorrow night.
They're obviously a pretty good football team. I think they played for the past 3 state
championships.
Past
3 state championships in 5. Yep, they've been there for every one of them. So.
Man, I tell you, that's kind of unheard of, and they haven't been able to win the big one, but they've been very, very close, obviously. What do you think maybe the biggest challenge for the team tomorrow night?
I would say probably box play on both sides of the ball. Their O-line and D-line. We certainly got our work cut out for us, and it's going to be a challenge. And our guys are aware of that, man, and they're ready to cut it loose and go see what they can do. See where we're at, man. Just cut it loose and go play ball.
Brian?
Well, let me ask you, Coach. I've seen a couple of minutes through the NFHS network, some of their games, and I can tell you that linebacking core, I know from an offensive standpoint, it's also got to give you a lot of headaches.
Yeah, they can play, man. They're good players.
They look like they can really close in and look at a running back and close in on them really quickly.
Yeah, they can run, man. They can play. Ain't no doubt about it. So, got to be clued in, man. Got to know where we're going. Got to take great steps, great angles, hand placement, hat placement, all those fundamental things that we talk about with offensive line play all the time. That's going to show up, and we got to fight. Continue to fight, snap after snap after snap for 48 minutes, man, and see where we stack up. At the end of the day, I think that's where we're excited about. Brett mentioned they've played in each of the past 3 state championship games. We want to see where we stack up, man, with that. So again, I think we're playing our best ball, and we'll find out. We'll find out where we're at tomorrow night. So,
very good. The Vikings in Pleasant Grove. Is it senior night or
Nope. So tomorrow night is Teacher Appreciation Night.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's a really cool deal, man. So me and the seniors, we went around today. We asked each senior to write a letter to a teacher that he's had that's meant a lot to him, that's really impacted his life. We get those framed up, take them, read those to the teachers, which is always kind of an emotional, sentimental moment. Yeah. Then we put together a video on the Jumbotron of those letters being read. So all the teachers will be on the field at 6:30, standing with their player. So we're going to honor and recognize specifically those teachers, but also all teachers, in our system that work so hard and do so much and impact our kids. So we're thankful for all of them. Yep, Teacher Appreciation Night, really special night always.
Wonderful.
Absolutely, and there's so many great teachers in our system,
without a question.
And that's good that the team is able to do that.
Man, we do. We're tremendously blessed, to have the quality of educators and teachers and coaches that we have in this system. And a lot of people don't know what all goes into that, man, and how much work goes on with teachers. They don't just run out the door at 3 o'clock, man. My wife's a librarian, and she's been in the classroom, and there's a lot that goes into that with grading papers, and they fill a lot of needs, outside of educating your kids. You know what I mean? As far as parenting and feeding and getting kids shoes and anything and everything, man. So that's a calling, and we're certainly thankful for our teachers.
So that'll be going on tomorrow night at Cairo Gambrell Field in Jasper, along with the big game with Pleasant Grove. We'll take our second break, come back, and kind of wrap things up here with Coach and the players, Pedro Ponce and Logan Nairmore joining us tonight from the Pie Factory. We'll be back after this 2-minute timeout. Welcome back into the Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper. The Coach Philip Bailey Show live each and every Thursday night here. We're joined by the coach and players Pedro Punts and Logan Nairmore. We talked about Teacher Appreciation Night. Let's talk to these seniors. Logan, who did you recognize and why?
I recognized my first grade teacher back in elementary school. And I remember this one time, it was probably the first time I really got in trouble. Probably bad ever. And she kind of sat me down and made me feel better about myself. And she was just memorable, one of the better teachers I've ever had. And it was fun today bringing her my letter and letting her read it. And tomorrow I'm going to walk out with her.
Very good. Pedro, what about you?
I chose Miss Getz.
Okay.
And she's been through with me a lot in my tough times and trying to improve on my language skills and in English. She's been pretty patient with me. I've had really tough times with my grandpa passing away, and she's been there helping me go through it, and she's just a great teacher helping me with my classes as well.
Coach, you got some.
That's awesome, isn't it?
You got some fine players, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, there's no doubt about it, man. We're blessed around here. So, recording all those videos today, man, and I know what a lot of these kids have been through, and then the things that they reference in those letters and how the teachers have helped them, man. I mean, it's so much bigger than what goes on in that classroom, and then it's so much bigger than what goes on that football field, man. You're growing kids up, and you're teaching them how to live, and it's very important from time to time for all of us to be reminded of that. So, yeah, certainly a very special night.
I think that's one thing that I think all of us can be unified. We always remember a favorite teacher. I mean, regardless of your age, you could be 80 years old and you'd still remember your favorite teacher.
Yeah, any person. Yeah, I don't care what you end up doing for a living, man. You look back and you think about your educational experience and you think about a teacher that you had that impacted you a great deal, man. No doubt.
Coach, getting toward the end of the show, and Pleasant Grove tomorrow night. Got to have a big crowd.
Ain't no doubt, man. Yeah, got this one at home. This is a big one, man. You know, we win this game, get to host a playoff game. So need Cairo Gambrell rocking, man. Need everybody out. Big atmosphere, big student section. A lot of noise, a lot of energy. Certainly need a big crowd, man. Gonna go after this thing.
And keys to a victory.
Keys to a victory. Got to protect the ball. Can't turn it over. Got to force turnovers. Got to knock it off them. Got to control the clock, man. Got to keep it away from them. Got to stay on the field on third down. And then when we get a chance to score it, we got to do that, man. And then we got to limit their big plays, man. You know, we got to make them drive the field. Got to make them snap it again. Can't let them score fast. So those are the keys to the game, man. Protect the ball. Stay on the field. Stay on the field on third down. Score it in the red zone. That's the deal, man.
Anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
I appreciate you guys, man.
Yeah,
appreciate y'all having us. Y'all do a great job, man. Appreciate these young men coming on with me, man. We're blessed. Got great kids in Jasper. That's a testament to our community, man. So need a big crowd coming out tomorrow night, man. It's a big one. We're going to go after this thing. So appreciate y'all. Always a pleasure. Enjoyed it. Go Vikes!
Go Vikes! Coach Philip Bailey, the head football coach of the Jasper Vikings, along with Logan Nairmore and Pedro Punts. We'll be back after this 1-minute break to wrap things up from the Pie Factory in a moment. Welcome back into the Pie Factory in historic downtown Jasper, the Coach Philip Bailey Show. And, Brian, we want to update folks on volleyball action. Of course, Jasper played earlier today as well, and took a loss.
Yep, that they are still in contention for that third place spot to go to state. So we'll be keeping our eye on that. Carbon Hill, Curry, Cordova, and Winston County have all been eliminated from the tournament. Addison won over Spring Garden. They advanced to the championship game, and the last time that we had checked, Meek was still playing, and they are trying to vie in the semifinals.
Coach, talk about the volleyball program, and that they've had a lot of success under Coach Daniel, and
no doubt
it's always good to see all of our athletic programs.
Absolutely, man. That's good for Jasper, man. We want all of our athletic programs and all of our programs in general, man. Show choir, any extracurricular that kids are involved with, man. We're certainly pulling for them and want them to be successful. Coach Daniels and his staff have done a tremendous job and have for a while, man. Won a couple state championships around here, and then they're certainly making long runs, and they're in the mix for it every year, man. So he does a great job. So yeah, certainly hope that those girls can rebound and get back to state. And we're pulling for them all the way.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, we'll see you tomorrow night at Cairo for a 7 o'clock kickoff against Pleasant Grove. And Brian, we're going to wrap things up. Going to send it to Tuscaloosa. The Coach Nick Saban Show is coming up next. Special media guest tonight, by the way, is James Spann.
Yes.
He will be on tonight on the Coach's Show, which is coming up here in just a couple of minutes. So we're going to wrap up here for the Pie Factory. Don't forget they have live entertainment starting at 7:30 with Mark Palmer. Got the games on all weekend long. A great place for dinner and more here at the Pie Factory. We'll see you tomorrow night at Cairo Gambrell Field in Jasper. For Luke Keaton, for Brian Hill, I'm Brett Elmore saying good night from the Pie Factory.